everybody, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about my Piggy series called Piggy News Story. It's basically my build mode series. I'm playing a chapter in the background right now, and I'm going to be telling you 10 facts about it, or just general secrets being revealed and stuff like that. So yeah, let's go straight into number one. So fact number one is actually about the character I'm talking about in the background, which is Piggy. So his backstory, he is in the lab and he can talk. He's not actually that infected, he is literally a zombie. So it's one of Mr. P / Ghosty's failed experiments that they were working on, and that's mainly a reason why they had to evacuate the lab as seen in one of the notes. So yeah, that was fact number one. Let's move on to number two. So fact number two is that chapter 8 is not the last chapter. I am doing 2 more extra chapters, just like the Mimi's backstory chapter. They are all going to be prequels to the original story, and you're going to have to try and figure out where it takes place in the storyline. And speaking of Mimi's backstory, the next fact is something about it. So let's go on to fact number 3. So this next fact is actually the timeline of Piggy News Story, which is here. This is the canon timeline for what is going on. So you have day 1, you have all the 4 chapters are all in one day. Then 6 weeks later, the sewers happens. Then another 5 days later, the burning building and storage supplies happens. And then 2 days later, the cargo ship. 1 day later, Doggy crashes the ship. And then the 5 chapters of those happens. Then in midnight, the last and final chapters happens. And you may be wondering why Mimi's backstory appears twice. This is saying that the one in midnight section is while Mimi's telling the story to the group, because it starts off with Pony saying something like, Mimi tells us your story, and then Mimi tells the story. But really, the event with Giraffe, Mimi and Mr. P arguing in the little ice cream shop is actually happening while Zizzy is sadly getting infected. So yeah, that's a little cool fact, so let's move on to fact number 4. Now some of you may already figured this out in the campsite chapter, but the events of Piggy News Story 2 are in Lucella City, the exactly same city as the one in the actual Piggy story, the real Piggy story. So this means you might, in the other 2 chapters, possibly see some familiar locations. And another fun fact as well, the forest is right behind the lab. And yeah, the forest and campsite are literally just right next to each other. So yeah, let's move on to fact number 5. There's a little bit of the backstory for the burning building, actual building. So it is based off the safe place in the actual Piggy story because it looks so similar. But it actually is prone to set on fire a lot. So that's how Bunny and Pony, when they betrayed us in chapter 6, that's how they burnt it so easily. And it's just really easy to burn. So yeah, that was fact number 5. Let's move on to fact number 6. This one might be a bit obvious, but Mr. P has 3 bases. He abandoned the lab, moved on to the robot factory, and then he moved on to the underwater bunker base. So yeah, that's quite... You can figure that out in the notes, but I just wanted to tell you that. So yeah, let's move on to fact number 7. So this one's pretty exciting. I'm going to reveal who D is in the street map as seen on the screen now. And D is actually Dessa, which is the bot of the street chapter. So the person talking in day 7, day 14, I've run out of food, signed off by D. That is actually Dessa speaking in her uninfected form. So yeah, rip Dessa. Okay, let's move on to fact number 8. Okay, this is probably the most interesting one, I think, in my opinion. So, the backstory of why Georgie and the player are out in Georgie's grandmother's restaurant is for dinner, like really late at night, is because, well, the Piggy family are actually on holiday at Lucilla. So maybe we might see them here. And they are still on holiday. I don't think they will be enjoying it right now. But Georgie knows that Mr. P works at a carnival because Georgie had been on holiday before. And they've gone on holiday again, but Georgie's had to stay behind. I don't know why. It's just, that's how it is. So, yeah, that's why Georgie is having dinner with the player. So, yeah, let's move on to fact number 9. And now fact number 9 is that there is a humongous secret in Chapter 8, which I know one person, only just one person have found it. And it's quite a huge secret of what could be coming, to the future of Piggy News Story. And it has something to do with the security camera thing that was going on in Chapter 8. So yeah, there is something big coming. I won't say what it is or who it is or what it could be meaning to yet, but I will just say this, it is leading to something huge. So yeah, let's move on to fact number 10, the final fact. Now this final fact is actually quite big. In my opinion, it's gonna lead to some huge things, and I'm really excited to share this with you. But do you know how in Chapter 8 you have the bot that is the bot in Chapter 8, the cargo ship? He it's really Ghosties coming back.